So welcome back to the Finance Value Guy. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all how to use TradingView as a beginner so that you can actually understand how to elevate your trading game or just your investment game / stock analysis. This is going to be a very comprehensive tutorial, so without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. So when you are on tradingview.com, this is what you're likely to see. The screen right here, you can see there's a bunch of different information, but I'm going to make this very simple. You can see that we have 6 to 7 different major categories. We've got indices, stocks, we've got ETFs, we've got cryptos, which is cryptocurrencies, we've got Forex, which is the financial Forex markets, which are the currency exchanges, we've got futures, which are things like gold, copper, platinum, and then of course here we've got the bond markets, which are pretty boring. So essentially these are the areas where you can quickly get an overview of how exactly the market is going. Now, as a beginner, what you want to do is you're going to be wanting to take advantage of this right here. This is the search bar. Now, for example, this is where we want to search for different assets. So if I want to, do some stock investing analysis, what I'll do on the search bar is I'll go to the stocks tab. So I'll click this icon right here. Then I will search for my preferred stock. For example, if I want to type in Apple, I'll type in Apple and then it will pull up with my chart. You can see right here, there are 2 buttons that I can click. I can click launch chart and then I can click see overview. So when you click see overview, you get to this nice page. This basically shows you exactly what the stock is, the price, and it shows you a few different pieces of information. Right here, you can see that this is the price of the stock right now. And then of course, right here, you can also see the previous price change. Another thing that's pretty interesting is that it shows you the price action before pre-market. So if you're analyzing stocks and you want to know how the stock has moved after the markets have closed, you can look here and you can see exactly how much the markets have closed. Now, this is very, very useful. This is where TradingView excels. What you can do is you can scroll down here and you can see varied different pieces of information. Depending on what kind of investor you are, you might like to look at the charts in different ways. What you can quickly do is on this right here, you can see that there are 2 things right here. So we've got the area button and the candles button. If we click the area button, you can see it shows price action just as a line, which might be helpful if you're a beginner. But if you like candles, you can click to candles and it just shows you a very quick overview. Now, what's also very interesting is that if you're just doing some very quick analysis and you want to see how the asset has performed over certain periods of time, you can quickly check down here. You can see 1 day, 5 day, 1 month, 6 months. So we can switch to the 5 day and then we can see exactly how this is done over the last 5 days. We can then switch to the 1 month tab. We can see exactly how much it's done. Or if we want a long-term view for long-term investors, we can switch to 5 years and we can see since 2020 all the way up to 2024 exactly how Apple's done. Now this is just the overview tab. This just shows us a few of the upcoming earnings. So for example, if there's any major dates, this is where it's going to show us. So it can show us that the next report date is going to be July 2024, and this is going to give us the Q3 report period, and this is going to show us a few of the Now down here, this is where you get some additional information. For the TradingView stock area, what's really cool is this actually shows us how the company has been performing annually. These are just some information pieces that you might want to use if you're doing some stock analysis. As a rule of thumb, if the company continues to lose money, it's not really going to be a profitable company, but we can see here that their net income and net margin are really nice at 25%. And as someone who knows Apple, they've been sitting on billions of dollars of cash for quite some time. And overall here, we can see that their earnings are continuing to go up over these past few years. If you want, you can switch this to quarterly and you can see how the differences may change. Now down here, what we can also see is we can see ideas. And this is really useful. If you're someone who's a new investor, you're going to want to be using this area quite a lot. So what you want to do is you want to be able to go down to here, click ideas. Then what you can see is that you can see that we have ideas. Now, ideas are good because they allow you to get into the mindset of other people who are also analyzing the stock market. Sometimes, as a beginner, when you're analyzing stocks and you're looking at patterns, you might have certain ideas that you might wonder if the other community sees them as well. So right here, you can see that this is public. This is basically just random people who are able to analyze the charts and give their own opinion. But I say this with a level of nuance, and this means that the information here could be completely false. Don't take the information here as investing advice because any of these charts that you could see right here could be completely false and they could be out of date. What you want to do is you want to pay attention to this right here. You can see this one is 18 hours ago. This one was 15 hours ago. This one is June the 13th. And basically a lot of these charts can be written by random people. A 5-year-old can do this and publish it here. So this is not financial information. this is just something that gives you an idea of what the community is doing. You can see right here, someone says, I'm Batman. This is the I'm Batman chart pattern. And obviously, that's not a widely recognized chart pattern, and it's obviously just a troll. But if you want to see what people are saying very recently, what you can do is you can click here, and this essentially changes it to most recent, and then you can see exactly what people are doing. This recent tab analysis thing here is very useful if you're dealing with an asset class that fluctuates quite a lot. For example, if you're dealing with cryptocurrency, this is where the most recent button is going to come in most useful to you. Otherwise, just stick to the most popular if it's a long-term investment, and then you can see exactly what's going on. For example, let's say I want to look at someone's chart. I can click this right here. Then what I can do is it now brings up this whole interactive chart. So what's really cool about this is that we have a button on the right-hand side. And what this allows us to do is this allows us to see what happened when the chart was made. So this chart was made on the June the 12th, and you can see that right here, this is June the 12th. So this person has predicted that Apple will bounce here and go all the way to $210. Now, if we click the play button, we're going to see if that prediction was correct or not. If we click load new bars, you can see that Apple just basically didn't go down, but it went immediately straight up and broke out of resistance. So I guess you could say this person is kind of right. Now, the reason that you want to be able to use this is because you want to be able to use this to analyze whether or not people are good at analyzing charts or whether they are terrible. When you click the play button and you see it do something other than what the person suggested, it might mean that they're not that good at analyzing charts. This doesn't mean that sometimes people can't be wrong, but I would say if they do this a few times and they're getting it wrong, then probably look at someone else's analysis. You can also see here, if we scroll down, exactly what some of their comments are, because you're able to update these charts a lot of the time. So now if you just click X that, we can scroll up to here, and then we can go to something really useful for us. We can click the technicals tab. Now, when we click the technicals tab, essentially, this just gives us a easy way to analyze whether or not we want to buy a stock. So what we can do here is you can see that this gauge displays a real-time technical analysis overview for your selected time frame. The summary of Apple is based on the most popular technical indicators, such as moving averages, oscillators, and pivots. So you can see right here, basically, this just gives us the average opinion on what we should really be doing. And this tells us whether or not we should buy. But of course, you can see right here, once we change it to the weekly or we change it to the monthly chart, we can see that things change. So this is very dependent on your investing time. If you're a long-term investor, you want to be sticking on the monthly area, and then we want to go down to this one, and you can see it says strong buy. So if you're someone who invests from month to month and you're thinking, okay, I put it on the month chart and then I'm going to look here, you would be buying this stock because it says strong buy here. Moving averages suggest strong buy, and the oscillators suggest strong buy here. However, if you are a trader and you're someone who's looking at this on the short term, you're going to switch to the 30 minutes tab, and you can see that short term, it's telling you to sell, because short term, you might actually make a loss. So this is where nuance gets into play here, because the different time frames will tell you different stories. So make sure that you're changing things around, and in different asset classes, this can become increasingly useful. What we can do after this is we can then head over to the forecast tab. So we just click forecast, and you can see now this looks at all the analysts' ratings and where prices could possibly be. You can see that the analysts offering 1 year price forecast for Apple have an estimate of $275 and a minimum of $125. Now, as you know, with any asset class, prices can go up and prices can go down, which means that the analysts give us their projection in what they think could happen. So what you can see is the maximum gain might be 30% or it might be 40% loss, but we can see overall it is a strong buy consensus. And down here we can see the earnings per share, and we can see if they manage to beat analyst predictions. Right here, you can see that the reported was $2.18 US, which is probably billions or trillions, and the estimate was 2.10. So you can see that they managed to beat this, and that of course pumps the stock price up. Down here, you can see other things like revenue, and of course here we've got some frequently asked questions. So this is just something that basically gives you a quick overview on where the price action could go. Now, if you're someone who's more into the technical side, what you might want to do is you might want to click See on Supercharts. So when you click See on Supercharts, this brings up your first interactive chart. Now, I have a few things here that shouldn't be here, so yours won't look like this exactly, but if you do see some random stuff here, just click there and that'll close that down, or press the delete button right here and it will just get rid of that entirely, because those are indicated. So what you can see now might be confusing, but trust me, it's super easy. One of the first things you want to do is understand whether or not you're someone who likes the bars or the candles. If you click this icon right here, what you can see is that we have many different things to switch from. We've got candles right here. We've then got the area tab right here. We've got the HLC area. But the most common things that people do use is they either use the candles, which is what I'm using now, or they use the area tab right here. And this is something that easily shows you where things go. As a beginner, what might help you out is the Renko chart. I don't know why, but some beginners do like the Renko chart. This is just a very, very easy way to look at the charts, but I don't like it at all. I actually like the line chart for a beginner so I can see where price is going. I would recommend as a beginner going ahead and clicking the candles and just sticking to that because it's very, very easily. And then I would recommend for this just going to the 4-hour chart. And then of course I would recommend just doing this, so you can get a broader overview of where the stock has gone, and then of course zooming in to your preferred time. So what you can do is you can basically use your cursor on the right hand side and you can go up or you can go down. This is basically going to increase it or decrease it. This is a useful tool and you can do the same on here. So if I want to zoom into this area here, I can just do this. I can go like that, and then I can drag the cursor over here, and then I can drag this up as well. This is good if you want to visualize the charts in a lower way or in a higher way. That's just the complete base. Now right here, it says 4H. That stands for 4 hours. That means every single bar right here, for example, if I zoom in and I just use my scroll wheel, every single bar right here is just 4 hours of time has elapsed. So that's what that means. So if I switch this to 1H or 1 hour, you can see that now there are more bars for the same time period. That just means that every bar is 1 hour. So 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. That's exactly what that is. But if I switch this back to the 4 hourly or the 8 hourly, that's going to give me a nice and easy overview, and it basically condenses all of that information. If you're someone who's a long-term investor, I would say switch to the daily chart. That gives you a lot more information, and then I would recommend zooming out as much as possible because it gives you a long-term overview. You can see we can look all the way back to 2022. But if you're someone that's a short-term trader, you're going to want to be looking at 30 minutes and then zooming in with this and thinking, okay, where on earth is price action going? So one of the things that I like to do for TradingView is I like to do some technical analysis. Now, technical analysis can be done in the most simple ways by drawing support and resistance. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that very, very quickly now. So what you want to do is you want to click this one right here. And this basically gives you a line. So this is where you have your trend line tools. You can see we've got a bunch of different things here, but don't worry, all of this is confusing. Just click the trend line. What this allows you to do is this allows you to draw a line in which you can place something here, and then we can drag it all the way across, and then we just click again, and that is the line. So if I wanted to draw a support line, let's say for example I'm looking at Apple and I want to draw a support line for the top, I can click the left icon here, I can drag it from here, and I can say okay, I can drag this all the way down, and now I've got my support channel plotted on the chart. This is something you can easily do, and this is something that a lot of people easily do. So you can just click your line, just click trend line, and you can draw whatever line any way you want. With this, what you want to do is you can actually draw around the charts. You can drag this up or you can drag this down, and you can see whether or not things line up pretty nicely. What you want to do when drawing your trends lines is you want to make sure it touches as many lines as possible. But that's just a very basic feature that some people do use, and of course some people don't. Now, one thing that's really, really, really important as well with trend lines, and I'm going to show you with a different asset. And for example, if you just quickly want to switch over to a different asset, let's say for example I wanted to analyze Bitcoin, I can just click crypto. Then I can just click OK Bitcoin, and then when I scroll down here I can see on the right hand side the different things for different exchanges. So for example, this one's Bitstamp, this one is Coinbase, this one is just, you know, the all-time history, and this one is Binance. I would recommend everyone just look at Binance because they have the most volume. So now I'm gonna show you guys some of the most important tools that you need to use and the easiest ways to use these tools for yourself as an investor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch this to the 8-hourly chart. I'm gonna zoom out so I get a nice entire picture of Bitcoin. Then I'm gonna draw some basic trend lines, and I'm gonna show you which of the tools I use on a day-to-day basis that help me do decent stock analysis. So what you likely want to do here is you want to take out a line, then you want to scroll down until you see this horizontal ray. A horizontal ray line is really useful because it helps you look forward and not backwards. A horizontal line here is something that's really simple, and it also helps you look at the top or the bottom of the market. So for example, what I like to do is I'll get this horizontal line, I'll go to the top of whatever asset it is, I'll place this at the top, then I'll look around to where the next areas are, and I'll be like, okay, where is the bottom of this market? And for example, a horizontal line right here, I could do that, and you can see we've got this entire range here. Now we've got the top and we've got the bottom. Now if you don't like this and you don't like how this is, what I like to do is I like to click here and I like to use the horizontal ray. So I click the horizontal ray and I use it from there. And it basically just gives me the line going forward instead of all the way backwards. It's just something that I personally like to use, and it's something I find really, really useful. And of course, if you do get confused when looking at charts, I would just say zoom out even further. So for example, go to 2 days and then zoom out even further, and then the lines become even more pronounced. And you can be like, oh, the top of the market's here. This was the low. Okay, price action is in this range. And of course, you can see right now price action is in a downtrend. So if I want to actually use these charts to actually benefit myself, one thing that I might want to do is I might want to think, okay, price action was at the low at 30th of April this year, but how much has price action increased? I don't need to start doing maths. I don't need to start Googling this. I can think, okay, then I go to this icon right here, which is the forecasting and measurement tool. And then what I can do is scroll down and click price range. Just click it. Now it's on your button. So right here, I click the low and then I just drag this all the way to the top here. And I can see that price action has increased 26% or $15,000 in Bitcoin since that low. This is useful because it can also be done the other way. So if I want to switch this around, I can just go upside down and it's going to show me how much price has decreased. So if I drag this to here from the low to the point we are now, I can see that price action has declined around 11% in the last couple of days. And I can see that's how much that has been. This tool is really useful for investing because you can plot it at anywhere and you can see exactly how much price has increased and decreased in certain time periods. For example, if I say, okay, how much has this high gone down to that low? I can click this again and then I can drag it all the way and I can drag it to here and I can say, 12% from this high to that low. Pretty easy. So this is a very easy tool that I use all the time. Now, let's say, for example, you are going to submit a buy. What you can do is go to somewhere that's a lot more slower on the time frame. Then I would zoom in a little bit. And let's say I wanted to buy right now. What I would do is I would take this icon right here. I would go to long position. Now, this isn't actually submitting a trade. It's important to know that. But this just shows you, if you do submit a trade, how that trade is going to play out. So I click long position, then right now I click where I would submit my long position. So let's say I'm going to submit it when price action returns to this area. What I can do is I can then change this. So what I can do now is I can then go up here and I can say that this is where I'm targeting. And you can see on the right hand side, if you're wondering what price it is. So you can see on the right hand side, I'm targeting, let's say $70,000 in Bitcoin. I think from today, Bitcoin's going to go to $70,000. So I do that there. Then what we can see here in this little basket is that it shows us our risk to reward ratio. So for example, if I think price action could also go down to $60,000, and if price action goes to $60,000, I think that the market is going to be dumb. It's going to be just completely crashing. Then I can set that there. So what this now shows me is that this actually shows me my risk to reward ratio. So it shows me how much I'm risking versus my reward. Ideally, the risk to reward ratio that you do want is a little bit high. Some people want 4 because that means that you're only risking a fourth of your money for like the kind of gains that you're going to get back. So ideally, this ratio, you kind of want it to be at least 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. 2 to 1 is still pretty good, but that basically means you need to win every other trade to break even. If your risk to reward ratio when trading every single time is around 4, so if I extend this so that it becomes 4, that means I only need to win 1 out of every 4 trades in order to break even, basically. So that's how people trade. That's how they take their setups. So every 4 trades I could lose 2, and if I win 2, I'm going to be profitable over the short term. So you can just see right there, as I drag this up and down, the risk to reward ratio, you can see right here that it does change a little bit, and that's something that is really important to note. So this is going to be something for your long position. Of course, if you're going short, just click here again, open this up, short position, and if I think Bitcoin's going to go further, I just tap this down here, and I think, okay, I'm targeting this low here of $56,000, and you can see my risk to reward ratio is 4.26, and of course, my stop loss is here, and then when I go on an actual trading account, I can input those details, and that's going to help me there. So one of the things that you're going to want to do as a beginner trader is, of course, get better at trading. Now, the best way to do this, and this is by far the best way, is to use this button right here. At the top, you can see that there's a button called bar replay. Essentially, what this allows you to do is this allows you to go back in time and then, of course, test your trading strategies. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go quickly, switch to the 2-day chart, zoom out, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to go back to a random time and then just zoom in again. So zoom in again and then just switch back to, let's say, for example, the 4-hourly chart. Now, I would say pick whatever time frame you want. For example, some people want to trade the 1 minute. Some people like trading the hourly. Some people like the hourly, but it's completely up to you. I like the 45-minute chart because I think it has just basically everything. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically go back in time. Then I'm going to click the bar replay button. So I can pick any time here. And then let's say, for example, here, I can now click this time right here. So what this now means is that I can test any trading strategy and see how it would have worked in the past. So for example, you want to just leave it on 1 time speed. And then of course, I have buttons down here. I've got the sell button. I've also got the buy button. And basically what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be selling and buying based on where I think price is going to go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do some basic technical analysis. Let's say I put a horizontal ray right here. Then of course I say, okay, on the 45-minute chart, looks like we're in a downtrend. I've put a price action thing here and I'm going to see where price action goes. And then of course I will either buy or I will sell. Now, if this is too slow for you, you can always, change the speed and make it 3 times or 1 times, but it's always good to see where price action is going. So that way you can always test out your strategies and see if you understand exactly what's going on with the market. So right now, I'm just going to wait for some kind of pattern to emerge. And then I'm going to try and potentially chart this in a way that I see possible. So right here, I can see that it looks like there is going to be some resistance at this level. And it also looks like there's going to be a trend line going up here. So it kind of looks like a pattern that could break out. So I could buy here, or I could wait for price action to come back down once again and then shoot off. But it's completely, up for odds. So I'm just going to click buy. I'm just going to do this at random just to show you guys how it works. And you can see that the money is starting to go up. You can see $75. Now I just click pause here. And then of course I click X. And you can see that is a buy and sell. And you can see in my account there, it's $71. Now, it's completely up to you. What you can do is you can change the quantity. So I would say, if you want to put it at 1,000, that's completely up to you. Then you can click play again. Then, of course, you can continue to buy or sell. And the reason you want to use this is because this allows you to get comfortable with large numbers on your screen. One of the problems that beginner traders do have is scaling up their accounts. And in doing so with this virtual money, you're going to get used to seeing these big numbers. And then, of course, you're not going to get freaked out. So right there, if I just actually go back a bit. So if I go back to here, what I would have done, because I wasn't paying attention, I was actually talking. But you can see as I played, as it comes back down to that blue line, I just want to pause. Then I want to click buy here. Then I'm just going to click play again. And then I'm just going to wait. And you can see as I'm waiting, the price is going down. Okay, so that is, I don't even know where the price is going. Okay, so now I can pause here. And you can see that that's plus $290. And I can exit that position. And you can see now I've got plus $290 right there. So it's completely up to you. Of course, what you want to do as well is don't forget to, when you're trying this out, don't forget to, like we talked about before, have your long position or your short position. So if you're going to go long, just do that. And then of course, have your position. And then of course, close the position if it enters the wrong area. Open another position if it enters the right area, and it's completely up to you. But that is how you test your strategies. And for example, you can see price action is coming back down to here. It's coming back all the way down, and I'm wondering if price action is going to hit our blue line again. And then of course, it doesn't manage to, it hits this area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to buy, because I think this area was a nice bit of, support. And then we can see if price action is either going to go down, it goes up. We can see it spikes up. It's now at over $800. And then, of course, I'm going to just exit that position. And now I've got plus $1,210. As of course, guys, this is virtual money. But I do just want to show you guys that if you can go back in time and do this on a different coin, what this allows you to do is it allows you to understand whether or not your trading strategy works, whether it be an RSI-based strategy, whether it be a strategy you just made up, whether it be any kind of strategy. And you can do this with stocks, crypto, all this kind of good stuff. And I wish someone told me this at first, because this is the kind of thing that allows you to become a profitable trader really, really quickly. So with that being said, hopefully you did enjoy the video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. If there was anything I missed out, don't forget to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.